Hi friends, short update video on the Parasite. I realized something this week and I have figured something out. So I've been telling you for years that I get overheated really easily and that I stay cold and I can't get warm at night. And I finally figured out, I was thinking it was my thyroid this whole time. But I never had this problem before in my whole life. I've never had oily skin. I've never had a shiny face. I noticed in one of my videos last week I was super shiny and I'm like, hey, I've never had that. I know people use compacts and powders and I've never had to worry about that. I always had kind of a dry skin. And so I reported to you guys, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago that I had a waxy film. Well, it's probably longer than that. And I've never had that before. So I got in the shower and it just kind of feels waxy and I'll just scrape, especially the neck and chest area. And now it's everywhere. But at that time it was just mostly there. And you could scrape it off and it would be waxy. It felt like I was scraping a candle almost, but oily, more oily than a candle. Yeah, so it's like waxy and oily. And I hypothesized that this Parasite, because it likes moisture, and my thinking was that it created this film on the skin so that the moisture would stay in the skin because it likes moisture and needs moisture. It's a water parasite, and it gets this insect in nature gets its host to commit suicide in water. Typically it's a water parasite, and then it gets in the water and it lays its eggs. And so my thinking was it keeps this waxy skin on waxy surface so that it can keep the moisture in, which I do believe is still true. But it wasn't until I was in the shower last night and I'm scraping all this stuff off and I'm thinking, wow, this just gets worse and worse. It's so thick, I can't even seem to get it off. And as I was thinking that, I realized that the skin is the largest organ on the body and it breathes. And I remember one time I had somebody rub oil all over me, and it was a mint, it's like a sore muscle mint, and I had them rub it all over my body. And I got really sick because your skin breathes, and if you coat it in oil, the body can't breathe and it can cause some problems. So I learned a huge thing that day. You can't coat the body in so that the skin can't breathe. So as I was thinking about that, I thought, oh, well, that explains my whole not being able to regulate heat. What the body does is when you're hot, you perspire, and then that evaporation cools the body like an evaporative cooler. And so if there's a waxy film all over the body and there's this coating, your skin can't breathe. And as I go outside, I'm out there 10 minutes, my face is beet red. I'm perspiring mostly on my face, but I cannot cool down, and I have to leave outside and come in and stand in front of the cooler and just chew on ice to cool down. I cannot cool down, and I've never had that before. I've always been I didn't have a sweating problem. I've never had perspiration or oily or anything. So for me, this whole thing is new, but I finally put two and two together yesterday that the oily, waxy coating that's on the skin, keeping that moisture in, is also keeping that heat in. It's like I'm wearing a plastic bag or something, and so I can't regulate the heat. And I think there's something similar with the cold. With the waxy skin, maybe when I'm trying to get warm at night, I'm under the blankets and I'm so cold. I'm just shivering and cold, and I'm wondering if my body isn't accepting the warmth from outside because it has this barrier on it, so the warmth can't get in. And the only way I can get warm is by putting on a heating blanket. I have it on year round, whereas if I get cold, I can't warm up, and so I turn on this mattress pad that I have that heats up the bed, and I'm in there for probably 45 minutes to an hour before I can start to warm up and relax and be able to go back to sleep. So that's it was worse in the wintertime, but obviously it's in the summer too. I was reporting recently that I was so cold. I was like teeth chattering cold, almost crying. I was so cold I could not get warm for about a week or two. I think it was a month or so ago. So anyway, I thought that was a huge thing for me to realize. I was like, okay, that makes so much more sense now. But I don't know how to, and I've taken citrus baths and that gets the biofilm off for a day or two, but then it's back. I don't know how to get rid of that waxy thing. People call it biofilm when they've written me, so I'm just calling it that because that's what they call it. And I've never had that before in my life, and it's weird to me. So the other update, that thing that I wanted to share is, and I shared about the leg rash and the horrible thing, and just using straight, strong iodine and then diatomaceous earth on it, and then I cut a sock and I put that on it. It's looking really good. It's almost gone. Like, you can't even see it. I don't know if I'll be able to show you. I'll try. So, if you remember, it's right here. And you can tell it's not hardly even there anymore, and that was about a week ago. So I just learned, as soon as I feel any creepy crawlies under my skin on the leg areas, I need to put iodine immediately on it and diatomaceous immediately on it. If I wait, I think the eggs hatch or something, and then they spread, and it feels like fire just going everywhere. It's really awful. And you can see in my pictures, I posted some update pictures on my blog, thesecretisgratitude.com, and just type in right leg rash or any leg rash. Most of the posts will come up about it because we've had a lot in our family on the legs, as I reported in one of the other update videos last week or 2 weeks ago. And so I'm on the local board of our food bank, and our local food bank board of directors, and they gave me a call this week, and I went down and visited with one of the workers there, and he started telling me the story about how he had this weird leg infection and how he ended up being in the hospital with it for a while, and then about a year later he had another one, and he doesn't know how he got him. He didn't cut himself. He doesn't know anything. It got so bad so quickly that he had a fever and he was in the hospital. And so he's had 2 leg infections, same exact spot as I've had mine, and my kids have had theirs, and other people have had theirs. And then he was telling me that another friend that works there, she and her husband went on a road trip to the East Coast, and while there, he just crumbled and was taken to a hospital. They weren't sure what exactly, so he was transferred to another hospital, and they found out they had a gut infection. Now, I have been saying that I believe that this parasite carries bacteria with it when it comes out of the gut, burrows out of the gut, and depending on the weakness of your immune system or the situation or how much fecal matter they are carrying out with them, that it could cause infections anywhere in the body, but particularly I feel mine has been always on the leg. But when he was telling me about his symptoms and everything, I thought, gosh, that surely sounds like the parasite. And I think it's all in the soil everywhere where there's no iodine in the soil. So I think that he also had that. And my neighbor, my dear sweet neighbor, who has always given us fruit and vegetables, passed away this week. And he has had most of the symptoms that I have. And his mind went about a year ago, and they put him in a care center, and he just passed away. And but same symptoms. And I just, and I talk about minerals, not having minerals. Well, he couldn't maintain the fluid balance. I talk about my fluid balance. So I get where I can't breathe and I swell up if I don't add minerals to my water. And that's what happened to him at the end. His body was healthy, except he just was retaining water. Well, at the center, I'm sure they have filtered water and ice machines. And so he wasn't getting any minerals in his system. And I didn't even know he was deteriorating, and I didn't even hear about his passing for almost a week because we've been so busy. If you read my blog, you can see how crazy it's been. So I really think they're going to find all of these things are connected, and that they need to start supplementing minerals in the soil or in the food, or everybody needs to take a pill with minerals in it every day if you don't live near the ocean, because I think especially if there's no iodine in the soil and where you live, so and iron and everything else, our soil is just desert soil. There's nothing in it. So Anyway, I wanted to share that update with you because it was such a light bulb moment for me that explained why all of a sudden I can't regulate temperatures, and people are like, "Are you okay? You're beet red." I'm like, "I know, I've been out here 10 minutes and I can't sit in the sun. I can't go out and do anything during the middle of the day. In fact, I've needed to work on my trailer for 2 weeks. It's just been sitting there and I can't get out there to do it. I just have not had, it's been hot. And so I really got to get out there this week and fix that so I can park it and store it. But it's just really hard for me. I get out there for 10 minutes, get something done, and then I have to recuperate for 20 minutes and 30 minutes in the cool. So I thought that was something I would share because to me it was such a aha moment with the Parasite. So if you know somebody who all of a sudden can't regulate their temperature, that might be one of their problems, is this parasite causing the film on the skin. So I just thought I'd share that with you. And check out my blog, thesecretisgratitude.com, and I'll update on that as well. And you can type in film or waxy or skin temperature. Up will come those posts once I put up the video. So that'll be a day or two. Anyway, thank you for watching. And I hope you have a very blessed day.